Professional Sports Authenticator and their parent company, Collectors Universe, have worked really hard over the last couple years to obliterate the trust that we had in them. They had worked really hard, I think, to build over decades in business in the card grading industry. And really, to me, it all starts in 2024, just 2 years ago, with the acquisition of SGC, one of their biggest rivals in the card grading business. Not only do they own SGC, but Collectors had already acquired multiple hobby companies during this expansion back in 24 and before that, acquiring Auction House Golden Company, Wada Games, Card Ladder, PCGS Coin Grading, and the Long Beach Expo Collectibles Trade Show. So they were already building up this horizontally integrated company with trade expos, grading companies, and auction houses all under the same Collectors Universe umbrella. What could go wrong? Well, about 2 years later almost, they go ahead and acquire Beckett now. So now Collectors owns Beckett, PSA, and SGC. So the only one they don't own is CGC and TAG. The only big three they don't own is CGC. This was another big step. And, they're going to continue to claim that Beckett and SGC operate as their own units. And if that's the case, why would you buy them, right? Why would you just buy Beckett and then just, we're just going to buy the company and let them completely operate on their own? Just doesn't make any sense. Not very believable. So maybe not anything criminal, but definitely antitrust concerns with what they're doing with regard to that stuff. And then we go over to 2026, and all of a sudden we've got just crazy allegations coming up left and right. So we've got Preston here on X, and first on the December 3rd, this was actually 2025, sent in a bunch of Pikachu and Zekrom GX tag team cards, vetted each one and was expecting at least 10 to 12 gems minimum out of the 30, and just got smacked. Every single one was a 9. So, pretty crazy. And then, I'm assuming this is in the PSA Vault app, so you can send them your cards to grade, and they'll not only grade the cards, but they'll keep them in their vault, and then you have possession of the cards, but they don't have to mail them back to you. You have them in the vault, and if you want to sell them to PSA, you can sell them to them, or you can have them mail them to you, or whatever. You can keep them in the vault, whatever you want to do. So I'm assuming he put them in the vault. And here he goes. Okay, so in an absolutely wild turn of events, apparently some of these literally graded a 10, but PSA falsely told me they were 9s. Some of these slabs were originally marked as a PSA 9. I sold back to PSA at their PSA 9 buyback value, but now if you look at that cert, it's a PSA 10. They bought PSA 10s from me for less than PSA 9 value because they showed me the wrong grades, or did they change them after the fact? And take a look at the screenshots here. 2019 Pokemon Sun and Moon Team Up Pikachu and Zekrom GX 33, and they paid between $34 and $35 for seemingly each copy of these. And let me tell you, as somebody who just bought a raw copy for about $30, that's a 9 price. And if you look super, super closely, that's a 10. You can't really see it, but it even shows a 10 in the label there now. And that's probably after the fact, because Preston would have caught it if he saw that. And here we go, Gem Mint 10, offer accepted. I'm telling you, that had to have been changed because, as you can see, obviously in their presentation to him, they sent them all 9s. But when you look at the price, that is not the price. That's not the value of a PSA 10. So that was the first big scandal last year, December 2025. Then we've got the lenticular deoxys. This is the biggest one. Just recently, 9 days ago, under r/PSA grading, dry nail 6665 posted this. Hi everyone, if you could reshare my Instagram post and spread awareness. Wasn't the news I wanted to hear, but it happened. PSA damaged my PSA 10 lenticular deoxys while it was getting reholdered. The card was impacted during encapsulation and was deemed a PSA 6. Now they're saying a fair market value for the card is $20,000, with the most recent comp being a public sale of $45,000 as of February 22nd. I have no idea how their evaluation would make any sense. Multiple people have told me the deoxys is $60,000 plus, and I personally have an offer over that. PSA, fix this issue. So you can see the email from customer relations here. This is the last email. Oops. So here's a picture of it in a 10. As per our policy, we would like to offer the market value difference of $19,250 in the form of credit, on account, or check, as well as remove the respective grading fee of $188.99. That's nonsense because he didn't ask to get it graded. He asked to get it re-encapsulated, and you wrecked it. So if you deemed it had to be regraded because you wrecked it, of course he's not going to pay for it. Unbelievable. And here's the information they gave him with the cert, description, original 10, current grade 6, fair market value $20,000. So they're valuing the 10 at $20,000, and then the 6 at $750, and the difference would be $19,250. That's just disgusting work by PSA. And you can see here on recent sales, it doesn't make sense. They're saying they're averaging these. Okay, so April of 25, one sold for $5,500. Okay, so June it was sold for $10K, July sold for $15K. Went up $5,000 a month, 2 consecutive months after it sold for $5,500. And then there was no more sales. So, and then, then there was one, no more sales for a long time, and they sold one for $45,000. PSA, keep in mind, PSA was the seller here. This is the seller. Probstein Auctions, Zhang, Demporium, PSA. They sold it for $45,000, but the one that they ruined, they only want to pay $20,000 for. I don't have to explain why that's wrong. When you look at this, sure, you can average these three and maybe get a price of $20K. But these two were sold coming up on a year ago. We're gonna blink and it's gonna be summer 26. So a year ago, you can't average those in. It just doesn't make any sense. So hate that for him. And now we've got this one. This Pikachu promo, I'm not gonna play the whole video. You can watch this. I'll throw the link in the description. Basically, very important Pokemon. Gave this card, it was in the vault. It sold, and then the buyer backed out or whatever, so it didn't sell. They sent him a message saying it went back in the vault. This was a year ago or so, many months ago. The value goes up in the card. Card goes from a $700 card to a $2,000 card. Now, all of a sudden, miraculously, it's sold for $700. Bananas. And certainly seems, top comment here, sounds like someone found out a glitch to buy cards but not actually pay, keeping your card on hold in limbo, and then if the price goes up, they finally pay for it. Certainly seems like that's what happened. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I think I did a terrible job on this video. I'm going to have to edit it a lot. So if you are still watching, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Oh, and don't ever grade with PSA. Stop sending them your cards to grade. Don't put your in the vault. These guys.